Let's give a hand to Dan Harbison.
Thank you. I'm gonna get this thing tucked in here. Woo! How are you guys doing? It's after lunch. I didn't bring the t-shirt cannon today, or Blaze. We had a game last night, so to start firing that off. But I did bring some stuff to throw to you guys afterwards when we do some Q&A. Let me grab the clicker, because that would help to advance that. You guys just don't stare at my first slide. How many people are using the hashtag today? How many people have used it? Do you guys know what it is? July 2012. So hashtag July 2012. I've been sending a couple things out there. Hopefully you guys do the same. If you guys want to use my handle as well for Twitter, it's Darbison, Darbison. I learned something new that usually when I spell my last name, I use B as in boy. I'm now going to be saying B as in brilliant. I think that's pretty. B as in basketball. Brilliant sounds so much more food. So I'm going to talk with you guys. I'm going to cruise through this presentation, but I really like interactivity, and rather have you guys shout out questions and take me off on a really random path if you guys want me to talk about something different, because where this is a presentation that I've put together, I'd much rather have a dialogue with you guys because there's a lot of really bright people in this room. But with that being said, we'll kind of go through this. So, digital entertainment. I work at the Portland Trailblazers. We have a division in the Trailblazers. It's a large department there. We used to just kind of be a standalone under marketing, and then in about 2009 we combined to be with our broadcasting department, television and radio. So it's TV and radio, game operations, video production, IT engineering, and then digital. And really what this formed was the content arm of the Trailblazers. These are the people who tell the stories about the organization and really trying to create these content platforms to have conversations around the team and the games and with the fans. So to kind of go through some of the digital things that we do, I wanted to kind of give a brief history of the Trailblazers. I mean, it really helps to know where the brand was and where the brand is going. So Blazer Mania is born. We were founded in 1970 by Harry Glickman. And at the beginning even, there was a swarm of people that liked to follow the team, but it was an underdog all the way through, even going to 1977, we went to the playoffs. We were the first team, that was the first year making the playoffs. We won the championship in 1977, the first team to do that, their first go-around of making the playoffs and then winning the championship. So it was a very pioneering Trailblazer thing to do, of us winning the championship. What that also generated was this buzz around this town that was amazing, and it still beats today. Blazer Mania, Rip City. And that's something that we really appreciate, but it's interesting to talk with other people at brands where it's somewhat, we don't take for granted, but it makes things easier at times or more difficult at times, depending on how your product is and how people are engaging with you. But by nature, our customers are fans. And most brands would love to go and have their customers as fans. So Blazer Mania was born in 1970. So we went through a time back in the days, the dark days. The team continued to win. So I'll take you through a quick 1980s, the team's making the playoffs. Late 1980s, early 90s, we made some runs to go to the finals. Very golden age of Trailblazer lore with Clyde Drexler and Terry Porter and Jerome Kersey and Cliff Robinson, Kevin Duckworth. These guys today, when they walk into a room or a Fred Meyers here in Portland, they're recognized instantly. And so everybody really, felt passionately about this team. Well, those players got older, either they were traded or they retired, and the team needed to fill in behind them and put in some new players. And they kind of had a transition with general manager, kind of the executive management. They started valuing athletic ability over character. So we went through this really tough time where the team was still winning, but with the wrong guys. Frankly, the guys were getting in trouble all the time, and it started becoming something that Portland as a community did not want to identify themselves with. I am frustrated with you, the Trailblazers. I used to call you my team. You don't reflect me. You were getting in trouble. I don't like it. So we had this brand separation, which is a very difficult thing to repair. It's not anything easy to do because once people have separated, how are you going to talk with them to be like, no, we've changed things around. We got to come back. So, kind of coming back into really the turnaround for the organization came around 2004, really doing some brand exploration, figuring out, seeing that the team wasn't winning and people weren't going to games and they were frustrated and we were listening. So we really started the turnaround in 2004, 2005, 2006. But because the brand was separated, it was hard to convey that. So we started to look at ways we can communicate with fans through non-traditional ways, especially because our relationship was, at the time, kind of tenuous with the major media outlets in town. And so we wanted to connect through innovation. So in 2006, we launched on trailblazersfan.com. That was the first standalone social network for a sports team. The concept actually originated from, hey, there's people that are still Trailblazer fans out there. Let's do some video testimonials and really humanize and show that it's safe to be a Trailblazer fan. Put that up on the website, put a little profile with them. That ended up looking like, wow, that's very similar to MySpace. Facebook was not open at the time. It was just MySpace and Friendster. And it took a lot to get that sold up the chain because what we take for granted right now as far as rules for social media didn't even exist really in 2006 with a lot of real-time communication. And so we launched I'm a Trailblazers fan to really figure out another way to connect with fans that are still hardcore and still engaged with us, but then hopefully to evangelize like we do right now on social media. And it was successful. In 2007, we had the #1 pick in the NBA draft. Came out, we weren't supposed to get it. It was surprising. We had just announced Brandon Roy's Rookie of the Year. We had a core group of young basketball players that the future looked pretty bright. Then we landed #1 pick in a highly sought after NBA draft where the #1 pick would have its pick of 2 future All-Stars with Greg Oden and Kevin Durant. So we quickly launched the Oden or Durant microsite, and we won a couple awards for that. It got a ton of traffic. We obviously know where the pick went, but we had a really good way to leverage the digital traffic that we got to listen. We had polls on there. That was when we launched Twitter in 2007 around the draft to give inside looks. Hey, we just picked up Greg Oden from the airport, taking him to his workout. I just want to keep you guys up to date. It was very much, there's some communication, but a lot of it was real-time push updating. We did that on the microsite, and then as Twitter evolved, we also evolved. We streamed our games online in 2009. This was to kind of test the waters. We did 16 of those games to our market in Oregon and Washington. We continue to go and do that today. And there's no other NBA teams that are doing that. That's due to legal reasons or contract reasons, but or they just don't want to test it out. We want to make sure we try to get the content as many people in front of them as possible as we can under our contracts. Finally, in 2010, we launched Trailblazers.tv. We looked at the way that we actually have our video, a very visual piece of content and product, that we wanted to take the video experience and evolve that and make that better. Kind of feel that, and I still feel this, we need to continue going, kind of evolve this and learn from it and really figure out the best way to serve this up. The video content is all kind of built off of almost a YouTube clone, which was built off almost an e-commerce looking site with a grid and the top things are floating at the top. I'm not saying that we broke the wheel and invented a better one, but we did try to do some new things with Trailblazers.tv. One of the big things that we've done is launched a lot of live video programming daily around the organization. So we do, on game day, 3 hours of live programming, 9 a.m., noon, and then an hour and a half before tip. really wanted to go, and once people came to our website, we wanted to immerse them with Trailblazer information and engaging in real time with our personalities. Because of this and some of the other pieces that we've launched, we're #1 in the league in time spent viewing. Typically per visit, it's about 11 minutes time spent viewing. An average for the NBA is about 4.5. So you can see that we're more than double the average website for the NBA. And a lot of that has to do with Trailblazers.tv because of that live programming. We also launched the bloggers, Rip City United, in 2010. This is a specific portal, kind of like an insider look for season ticket holders. And their program is called Rip City United. It's a membership program. And when you buy your season ticket, you're brought into Rip City United. We have a lot of amenities for season ticket holders who are our core group. And we really like and want to activate them in an efficient way online. So that was the Rip City United portal that we launched. And you can't see there, it's getting cut off. It says the Bloggers Network. Bloggers Network is a loose collection of our blogs for our official blogs and also fan blogs, and really trying to continue to cultivate that long form or even short form written text, and to make that in a very kind of cohesive area. And so that's the Bloggers Network we've got on our site. So you can see we've got quite a bit of innovation that we have, and it's interesting because, as you guys I'm sure are aware, there's a lot of things out there, and you've got to try to sift through everything and figure out how much time and money do you have to go through all this stuff. So we have to really be choosy in what we do, and I know it looks like we potentially have done a lot on this list, and I'll talk a little bit more about some of the other things. It still is, I'm hampered constantly by budget and by headcount, and so that's something that you have to be mindful of when you're exploring this space. This is like one of the best quotes that I've seen. How many people have heard of Bill Simmons before? Show of hands. So Bill, yeah, sorry, good fan up there. Bill Simmons writes for ESPN.com. He has a site called Grantland. He is the columnist for ESPN. And he has a special place in his heart for Trailblazer fans. You can see the quote, "The city of Portland that has one professional team, and they care about the Blazers. I always call them soccer moms lovingly. There are so over the top. This is talking during one of his podcasts with Mark Titus. Your Mark Titus feature had it been up for 4 hours, and there were 375 comments under the link. You have this rabid fan base. All they do is dissect everything possible that's happening with his team." And I think that has to do with a lot of things that are ingrained into Portland and in the Trailblazer fan. We're just trying to come up with ways to activate those people and to continue to spark that and to build the fire even brighter with those fans that have so much passion for the team, especially online. So one of the things that we like, so we do, like, one of the main activation points that we have for digital is engaging to sell or content marketing, and that's something that that we do on a regular basis, whether it's updating somebody what the score is during the game, or that's sending out an Instagram picture behind the scenes at practice. One of the things we're going to be doing is we're having our season launch campaign, and that's going to be launching on Sunday. We are going to be doing a bunch of interview videos that will be up online, and it will be up on television broadcast and paid TV advertising. But the long-form videos, interview videos, will be up on Trailblazers.com, on YouTube, and will spread through social. But it will be the splash page. And I got permission to play the 2 videos with Wesley Matthews and Damian Lillard. So Wesley Matthews has been with us for about 3 years. Damian Lillard is one of our heralded rookies. One of the difficult things that we have now, just where we're at with our team, we got rid of a lot of players that we had last year, mid-season. So we're starting somewhat fresh with this new team. So we really want to be able to leverage our digital assets to educate people on why they should embrace these new guys. We're not going back to the bad time of the organization. These are great guys, really good stories behind them that really try hard on the court, and that's what we've heard from Trailblazer fans. Please have guys that are going to be good guys, they're going to try every night, and then if they win, great. Everybody loves to win. But you want to make sure you win the right way. So I'm going to play 2 of these videos. Let's see if they play across your fingers. From Wesley Matthews and Damian Lillard. So we haven't shown this outside in public, so you guys are getting a sneak preview.
I don't have a plan B in my mind because I feel like when you do that, you don't succeed. I don't have a plan B in my mind because I feel like
This is the remix.
do that, you don't succeed.
That's okay. It may be just like the video processor. This should be local. Here's the name.
I always felt like I don't have a plan B in my mind because I feel like when you do that, you don't expect it not to succeed. Here in Portland.
I blame Microsoft Excel. That's okay. Target on resources. Go Gates, all right. We'll go and skip on. So.
I don't have a plan B.
Hi, Wes. Okay. Let me see the time. What are you doing?
I always felt like I
Ta-da! The videos, they were awesome. I know. Sneak preview in beta. Just so you guys know what those guys are talking about, Wesley's talking about, I don't have a plan B. If you don't know anything about Wesley Matthews, is he wasn't drafted by anybody in the NBA. He walked on to the Utah Jazz. He basically got invited to play in their summer league, and then invited to play for their team, and then kind of worked his way up from being, the 15th guy on the bench to being the 12th guy on the bench to being a guy in the rotation to being a starter, and then that was just in one season with Utah Jazz. He was a free agent at the end of that first season, and we signed him, brought him over. And that's something that's ingrained with Wesley is he's constantly been overlooked, he's felt, throughout his life. Whether he went to Marquette, which isn't a huge powerhouse, it isn't a Kentucky, or it isn't a North Carolina or a Duke, it isn't a basketball powerhouse. Felt like he was overlooked constantly growing up. So that's something that he wears really on his heart on his sleeve. And really likes to battle the naysayers on that. The same thing is to be said about Damian Lillard, the rookie that we have. He's from Weber State. So anybody know where Weber State is? Where is it from? Where is it? That's right, Ogden, Utah. So I consider myself somewhat knowledgeable about college basketball, and I had to go and look up Weber State. Where's Weber State from? And Ogden, Utah. And so it's a very small college where they did very well last year, and he was second in the nation in scoring, but he wasn't necessarily on anybody's map as being, that should be the number one pick. And he was drafted by us with our number 6 pick overall in the first round. Very high pick. We think he's going to be something special, potential all-star in the future. And but he's also been somebody who's been overlooked, an underdog. And it's interesting. I was talking to our SVP of Sales and Marketing yesterday. These guys are very similar to the Trailblazer brand of us feeling like we're an overlooked organization or team when it comes to when we play other teams. We play against the Lakers. They're in LA. We're Portland. LA's big and glitzy. We're the underdogs. And so it's interesting that the guys we're drafting and bringing into the fold are very similar, just fitting the brand, and that's something that's very important to us. Obviously, we saw when we deviated from that, and things didn't go very well. So here's some of our primary platforms that we have our conversations with people and tell stories. Trailblazers.com, our primary. Trailblazers.tv, as I mentioned before, our video platform. I'm a TrailblazersFan.com, which still runs today, is our social network. We've got a lot of hooks into Facebook, into that with Facebook Connect. We're working on our Twitter hooks as well. The Bloggers Network, I mentioned before, a lot of activity with blogs. And here's our social platforms. We have Facebook, Google+, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr, and YouTube. So the primaries that we use are Facebook and Twitter. We added Instagram, Pinterest, and Tumblr in December. To give you some numbers, Instagram, I think, is about 13,000 followers right now. It took us 3 years to go and get that onto Twitter. So it's interesting on seeing just the growth of Instagram, that it's going really well. In Twitter, within the last year, we have grown 7% with our Twitter users. We're over 100,000 now. So, really looking at the growth. Facebook is flattened out somewhat. We're not growing as fast on Facebook. Still grow, but not as exponentially fast. Google Plus is really weird. We got recommended on the sports tier as a recommended user. We have I think we have more fans on Google Plus than we do on Facebook. We have 440,000 fans on Google Plus and 415,000 fans on Facebook. But the engagement isn't there. We don't get as much engagement with Google Plus. And for various reasons, I won't go into here, but we always if we sell something, we make some money on Google Plus, like, whoa, yay! How did we do that? The guy did that on accident, But take it, sure. Okay. New jersey, something else. So let me take you through a case study of what we did. So we rolled out an alternate red jersey that would be worn on the road. It's we don't change jerseys very often. The Ducks change their jerseys every Saturday or twice a week. It seems like they see a picture in the beginning of the week, like what you see on Saturday wasn't the same. Like, they already changed it again. So we don't change our jerseys very often. But we were going to we wanted to do something different with our red alternate road uniforms. So we launched that in September. Actually, technically October 1st, but we did some of this stuff in September. We wanted to create a buzz to sell jerseys, create a buzz to tip off the season, which opening night's on Halloween. And that's the opening night where we wanted to encourage people to wear red, because we will debut those jerseys playing for the first time on a Halloween opening night. So what we ended up doing was we teased on social, we leaked out some of these close-up photos so people can get kind of a look. What does that look like? What is it going to be? Put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook, and on Twitter. And then we gave it to the players that kind of did their posing for us. They were our models on their social media accounts as well. Spread that around. We also made sure we had the presence on our site that mirrored that took people into a collection on our message boards of our different close-up shots. Unveiled the full jersey on October 1st with full photo gallery, full video package, and we wanted to make sure we had clear calls to action to purchase. That's the big thing, when you do all these awesome engagement pieces, but if you're not leveraging it for revenue, you've got to rethink your strategy. And so there's good ways to do it, and there's bad ways to do it. We try to do what we consider a good way, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right way all the time. But we wanted to make sure that if somebody were really driving people into one area to look at the uniforms, there was clear calls to action for people to go and purchase. Another program that we did was our pre-sale that went on September 26th. We wanted to go and we used Facebook Connect. Are you guys using Facebook Connect on your guys' sites or on your client sites? Nobody? Do you guys know what it is? Okay. People connecting via Facebook? Well, the reason why we really use it quite often is we build a Facebook application, and when we put it up on our site, people can connect. We bring that data back into our CRM. It goes actually into our I'm a Trailblazers fan database, which is our social network. You're signing up for I'm a Trailblazer fan with your avatar from Facebook. We're bringing some of your personal information. We're bringing the big pieces, your email address. And that's important if we want to do any follow-up information or conversations with you. Especially now with Facebook throttling your edge rank, looking at kind of have a conversation just so much. I'm sure you guys are aware, Facebook is allowing, it's on average about 17% of your audience to see your organic posts. Whether they really, really like you or not, they're in that 83%. They may not see your stuff, which is frustrating for being a brand that people do want to consume news content from you. They don't know that you're not putting that out there. So this is why it's pretty important for us to get someone connected with us via Facebook, and then we can email and have that conversation with them later. So we're driving our pre-sale to buy tickets for the regular season beforehand, and we did our Connect. We promoted through our digital channels. We also bought a promoted story on Facebook. Our first post that we did saw, I think, 13,000 fans. We did a paid campaign, and it hit 50,000. And 40,000 was through paid, and then 10,000 was through organic on that elevated post. We saw with our pre-sale for this specific list, We saw roughly $12,000 in tickets being sold, and we gathered about 300 new names in our database. That was a previous post that we did from, we kind of seeded it twice, one through promoted and then non-promoted them, I don't know, about a day and a half later we did a promoted one. So social content is just an example of some of our social content. That this is actually a link out to an article by David Aldridge, somebody who is on NBA.com that's not even part of our network. So here's some things that we're going to be looking at our future. Mobile. So we've been really trying to get into mobile. For actually, iPhone comes out in 2007. Apple announces the App Store in 2008. I went to the league and said, hey, we want to go and do something in the App Store. And they said, hey, hold on. And that's the way that, a lot of times the sport leagues work is they oversee these teams. Teams are franchises, so they have rules and regulations that you have to abide by. So we were kind of told, hey, hold off on this. And so we had to hold off. Just recently, within the last year, they've come back with rules and regulations that make sense for us to create an app for fans, so it's not a bad user experience. So we're going to be rolling out our app in the next, it should be going to Apple at the end of this week, and then we got to cross our fingers it doesn't get installed in the Apple Store for eons. But I'll show you some screenshots of our mobile app in a couple minutes. Twitter, 6% of usage. This is just a stat that the guys at Twitter threw out to us. 6% of their usage is on mobile. So making sure that we have a mobile strategy was something that's very important to us. Mobile WAP and mobile app, having both. And the NBA is the one who provides us with our WAP. They just recently rolled out new WAPs, and they're working out some of the bugs. We're figuring out ways to get around things. Looking at the usage for Twitter was pretty interesting. We really look at the game day experience at home or arena being pretty key for mobile. The second screen at home, and then not necessarily, I guess you could say the big screen is the primary screen, but having your device in arena while the game's going on is pretty important. The major hurdle in arena is the connectivity. I don't know if how many people have been to a game? Oh, that's a good hand. How many people have had success with their smartphone in our arena? Good for you. It what? It was at the Winterhawks. Okay. The more people you have in the arena, the worse it gets, and that really is just a function of cell service and cell antennas and Wi-Fi nodes. And so this is something that stadiums and arenas across the country are really struggling with. Of how do we crack this nut? What do we do? So we're in the process of trying to figure that also and trying to put in a better antenna system for all the different carriers and also Wi-Fi nodes, because we know how important it is. We're hearing about Mount Hood Meadows and really want to engage around the atmosphere of snowboarding and skiing and sharing that with their networks. We're thinking the same paths. Like, we really want to make sure that people are sharing their experience to engage people at home to eventually get them to come to a game. Like I said, it's not going to happen until we actually get some better connectivity in the arena. So here's our mobile app that we'll be launching. The left-hand side is what you see not during the game. What you see on the right-hand side is during the game. The app changes depending on when you launch it, what's going on. And we figure the people that they're launching their app during the game, they're going to go and want some form of scoreboard. So it's an updating scoreboard. We've got extended stats down below. We have a check-in feature where people can check in and say where they're watching the game. That spreads out to your Facebook graph. Because we want to be able to kind of use that as almost like a tune-in message. Hey, I'm watching right now, and this is what channel it's on. Or, hey, I'm at the arena right now watching. You should come too. So we have, we're also going to be driving contesting around that too. So while you're in game, watch on TV, hey, win a pair of tickets, check in right now with the Trailblazers mobile app. And then we'll pull out the people that we'll pick, a couple people to go and reward with that. That's all using Facebook Connect. So you can't use the app unless you sign up with us through Facebook Connect or through our Trailblazers Connect. On the left-hand side, this is kind of modeled after somewhat of a design from an app called Band of the Day. Really liking they did a really great job with that app. It's to show some sort of a calendar, and we have games on the calendar, and you can easily navigate to the different games and obviously buy tickets or getting deeper by just clicking that Lakers versus Trailblazers and taking you into that games page, that games experience. Tunnel anyway. Expansion of social. So social TV, essentially broadcasting yourself. Dave Costello from, I think I'm saying his last name correctly, from Twitter, CEO of Twitter, just was recently out there talking and saying that his view of Twitter, the next step for Twitter, or the evolution of Twitter, is to be the second screen experience, which a lot of people are using that. And we see that today, especially with live events, live sporting events. He talked about the Olympics also, and the debates being something that has really driven a lot of Twitter use. We see the same thing. You know, people at home, if you're watching on television or in arena, but really there's a large audience staying at home watching on television. How are we engaging with those people and letting those people express themselves around the team? Bigger yet, how do I, if I'm sitting by myself on a couch, how do I feel like I'm a part of 100,000 people watching the game, screaming at the same time? And that's something that, you know, text can do that, but it's not great. You know, Twitter, we use an app called Cover It Live. It's a live blogging platform. We have a chat that goes on our website during the games. You know, these are good, but they're very, you have to be very active. You have to be typing or thinking while the game's going on. So we're looking at ways to utilize video and social video in the future. You really want to go and figure out how you create a community and then echo that community. We use the hashtag RipCity. There's been a lot of conversation on whether we should be having a hashtag that changes per game or a hashtag specific just to talk at different times of the day. And ultimately, there's strategy behind all of it, but the strategy can work only if people adopt it. And really realizing right now, organically people are tagging either hashtag RipCity or hashtag Blazers. We really think Rip City is a good way just to kind of show the community. It's our nickname for Portland or just for our fans, a part of Rip City. And so that's what we use as our hashtag when we promote. We want people to talk about us or the game on television or radio or on digital. We use Rip City. And so we just started this year pulling out social commentary and running it on pregame. You can kind of see we've got three. It's kind of a screenshot of three different ones. We've got Facebook, a tweet, and then an Instagram. We run that. We've got one of our digital hosts who does a show pregame, pre-pregame, technically on Trailblazers.tv. She goes on our television broadcast and talks about the social activity that's going on. And we've seen, last night I just did pull the numbers, and we had about 1,500 tweets that used the hashtag RipCity, and from there the audience was something like 2.2 million people that it went to go and reach throughout all those tweets. So this is kind of how we're activating. Here's another piece too. During the game, we're still going to activate. We're going to activate this for opening night. It's going to be a crawl on the bottom that are going to be bringing in tweets that we're going to curate. We're going to select. That's key right there. Has anybody heard of the Skittles debacle? I mean, there's been a lot of them out there. McDonald's had a problem. Yeah. Skittles was the first one that I ever heard. Skittles decided to change their front page of their .com to be a hashtag search stream. Whatever. So people were throwing really bad jokes up on Skittles' website for hours. And so I was obviously like, for being out there and trying something new. F1, really thinking it all the way through on how you can get in the system. So we curate these, and also, I mean, not even saying that, this is one thing that I kind of firmly believe in. I think social content is really important. I think the conversation having with your fans is really important. But also, you as an editor or as a brand manager or as somebody that is engaging with your fans and you are an authority about your brand or your organization, curate the content. Not all content is equal. Good tweets should be floated up. Garbage should be probably suppressed. And so I don't know if you feel this way. I feel the same way when I look at my Facebook feed and I've got, 25 posts from people where I'm like, really? Again? Another thing about your breakfast or another thing about your dog? You're cool, but when did this really, how did I feel like I got to know you better? And maybe that's what you really like. My point being, though, is as an organization, I really want to go and capture, and sing the praises of the fans that take the time to think about something that's really interesting. So, and that's true kind of wherever we promote tweets, especially in our television broadcasts. Another piece that we did this past year was called Ticket Connect, the viral ticketing campaign. This is actually, I was not shocked, but I was really surprised and very thrilled on how this went. What we did was we sent out an email to season ticket holders and to employees and said, hey, thanks a lot for being a part of Rip City. For these preseason games, you can buy $5 and $10 tickets. Just click this link. So when you click through the link, there was a website where they registered using Facebook Connect. And they would sign up for this site. The next step is if they'd like to share this or provide email addresses of their friends, they could do so. The more people who joined the site that their friends that were invited, the more points they got. So they basically got rewarded for selling their friends out. But they went in and through the process had a leaderboard, and the top 3 got courtside seats or suite or autographed gear. And actually, we saw some really good numbers that came on through with not only people who bought, but also people who signed up as well. With $5 to $10 tickets, $40,000 in revenue, which is really awesome for a preseason game in $5 and $10 tickets. Preseason not being as high of a or as wanted of a product as a regular season game. Had over 4,000 tickets sold. I didn't put the number on how many leads generated, but new leads, not just the season ticket holders, new leads was just north of 2,000. So we saw some really good, these are people who came back in and joined. It isn't just people who had, so if you put in your friends, your email address, it wasn't just automatically stored and we're going to go and spam those people. You had to join the site. You had to go through the process. Expansion of the social. So the social arena, one of the things that we're looking at towards the future of what's your stadium experience going to be like? When I walk through the doors, I have the Trailblazer app. We at the Trailblazers know a lot about you if you fill out your profile. How are we activating you once you're in arena? How are we changing our flat screens that have all of our, we've got all of our menus on there and all the different advertising, very much like Minority Report, but how are we using proximity-based marketing once you're in arena? And one of the things with proximity-based marketing, at least I feel, is going to be interesting. How many people have an app called Highlight on their phone? I've got Highlight. Very few. Maybe you guys haven't heard about Highlight. Got a Highlight user? Maybe I'll buzz soon and I'll know that you're in the room. So Highlight was launched at South by Southwest. It's a proximity app. The way it works is I sign in with Facebook, and then it knows my friends and what I like. If someone else has Highlight on their phone and we're within a radius of each other, it'll ping me saying, so-and-so is nearby, you've got 2 mutual friends. It only ping you if there's something in common or you have mutual friends. So you're not getting pinged all the time. What's really interesting to me is it's taking a loose community like we have, Trailblazer fans, that don't really know each other. But you have the ability to actually bring them closer together in real time or in a room like this or a bar in Chicago. So being a Trailblazer fan in a bar in Chicago might be really lonely because you think you're the only one there. But if it gets pinged, there's someone else there that's rooting for the Trailblazers that you watch on the TV. It just brings you that much closer. And that's something that it's not easy to go and do, frankly. But with the phone, GPS, and stuff like proximity-based marketing and apps, that's really kind of helped out. So we're looking at baking that into our app in a future version, especially if you're in arena. You're going to be pinged all the time. Oh, look at all the Trailblazer fans. We're probably right in there if you went to college together or if you have mutual friends, that sort of piece. Once again, we're trying to go and tether people closer together. Okay, so this is the time that I got, I think, 15 minutes for questions. And I did bring in a T-shirt for the first question. And I've got pair of tickets for Friday's game and My name's Kim. I can put you on the guest list. So do we have a question? This is called a bribe right here.
My question is on the mobile app, do you guys build that in-house or is it Portland or
Good question. So I'm fortunate to have specialists on our staff. Some people are content creators, some people are social specialists, some people are operations. I've got somebody who does front-end development and design, where he's doing all the front-end design and development, and we have a development shop that's doing the back end. And so it's a combination of the two. But what's nice about that, and we build I'm a Trailblazers fan like that, and a lot of our other platforms, is we're not beholden if we go into a third-party vendor to their licensing agreement. So if we do a deal for a year, they all seem, boom, there goes your rates, and you don't really have anything to do except for pay those rates or build the app. Thank you. Got some tickets. Here we go. Okay.
I got a mic for you.
I was wondering, how do you track users and do your analytics across your different platforms and websites? Since you mentioned, various websites.
Yeah, it's always difficult. I just wish it was like, here you go. Through the MBA, we've got Omniture. This is our web analytics. We also use Google Analytics in-house. We've tied in our Google Analytics into our mobile app as well. The tracking of actual in social, we use Social Engage, which is an exact target product. We also use a couple smaller plugins, especially for the broadcast, through our system that puts the graphics on television called Chiron. They've got a little social plugin that can get things on there. We are still trying to figure out what we want to go and do as far as the social communication or social conversation. So whether we want to go with a Radiant 6 or a Crimson Hexagon, the conversations coming in and bringing it back. But as far as tracking conversions from Facebook into our commerce site and then the back end starts with our Google Analytics on the site. We also have some tracking that's within our e-commerce engine, tracking variables, and then we have our CRM in the back end too. So we use Microsoft Dynamics for that. Does that help?
Yeah, and is it a shared database of users across the different platforms? Are you able to connect with the same person on the different websites? Is that all through Facebook Connect, or are you using separate databases of users?
So right now we've got we have our CRM, kind of a database of record, with a large data warehouse that has a couple different databases that go and push and pull information to each other. But we really look at the CRM as the one that should be the cleanest data. And so we have, I'm a Trailblazers fan database that runs the Facebook Connect. That's what the Facebook Connect kind of brings it into, and then channels all the information we have in the CRM and does matches on that. And if they're already an existing customer, fill out their information on CRM. If they're not an existing customer, write a new record as a lead, and then they get triggered into our email program to get a nurturing program if they're not already an existing customer. So I'll get you a pair of tickets. Come see me after we're done. Another data question, yes. That's a great question, and you want to say that, of course, every decision is made right off of the strategy that's driven by the numbers. A lot of obviously the easiest answer is the measurement of success is driven by your metrics, or failure is driven by your metrics. And I'll say that that's somewhat true for what we do. A campaign did well, like this Ticket Connect, really surprised. I was expecting to maybe make $5 grand off that. We're going to do that and tweak it for the season and try to keep on rolling it out through the season. So if something flopped or only did 200, you failed, but please fail quickly and cheaply. And so that's how we kind of look at some of that stuff. Larger decisions, absolutely, as far as pricing the arena and our point of contacts with our season ticket holders and really how we cultivate the season ticket holder. That's our hardcore customer that we need to make sure we do it right. And that's really what the CRM is in place for, is to keep track of all that. So the big data helps drive a lot of that decision. Another question.
I'd say a lot of people here probably manage 1 to 2 websites or something for their companies, but you seem to have more, including mobile, including social media, things like that. So how do you manage that many digital entities, and kind of what is the team structure like?
Sure, yeah, great question. So I'll do the team structure first and talk about just infrastructure as far as the platforms. Our team structure, originally when I came on board as just me in 2005 as a one-man shop, and I brought on someone part-time to be kind of like, just, I don't want to do this, please do this for me. Brought her on, she's now full-time, she's our operations manager. So we have myself, and then I really look at 2 arms of the department. We have sales and marketing, and we've got content. And she oversees the sales and marketing initiatives, and that includes projects like the mobile app development, but also social. Anything to do with ticket messaging, ticket sales, and sponsorship. So she either activates on the website, or she's got 2 people, one person doing development and design, and then another person who's kind of a social media instigator underneath her team. On the content side, I oversee the content also. We've got different digital reporters that are out there. So they update the Bloggers Network, they update their shows on .tv. We've got a live producer for Trailblazers.tv. So his job is to run the software, run the camera, light the show, and then make sure that it's archived and up online and arranged on the site. So on the content side, we've got a digital reporter, 3 digital hosts, and one of the digital hosts oversees the Bloggers Network, and a live producer. So some of these are part-time positions, some full-time. The full-times include the operations manager, the front-end development designer, and the digital host, who's our digital reporter, and then the rest are part-time. The infrastructure to kind of a way, like how do we get this all updated and we not have 5 different CMSs, and that's the trick. One of the reasons why we built I'm a Trailblazers fan, or became very apparent quickly why this was a good idea, is the infrastructure we had from the NBA wasn't very robust. It was just out of date. Their content management system was, that Trailblazers.com was built on top of. So we built on I'm a Trailblazers fan as our own content management system, kind of a secondary CMS. And so we've been able to build a lot of our initiatives off of that CMS. So the idea is the mobile app, all the feeds that feed in the mobile app for the news, the blogs, the scores, everything comes from the I'm a Trailblazers fan content management system. The Bloggers Network is run off of I'm a Trailblazers fan. Trailblazers.tv for a large portion driven off of I'm a Trailblazers fan. So this is a CMS that's built so we can iterate off of it. We've since migrated over to Drupal for the NBA. And so that's been a lot more flexible, and we're going to start really thinking, do we port over a lot of our functionality over to Drupal to have it sit in one area off of Trailblazers.com, or do we continue to operate at least 2 CMSs? So that's kind of primaries, and then we have those social sites, and a lot of that stuff is done either through Social Engage or it's manually. Maybe we put up a new video, make sure we go and post that around to the different areas. So we're, either the live video host is posting that, or the digital reporter is posting that, or the social media coordinator is posting that. So some of that social stuff's done manually. Yeah. Make sure you guys get some tickets. So. They do. Oh, it's one of those things that we, on top of the players, you have employees, which I'm sure all you guys do too, that have their own Twitter accounts or Facebook or whatever, and where do you believe the line between personal and professional, and then making sure everybody's on message and they don't step outside the bounds. And it's something that we struggle all the time with. Players are a difficult thing because they're employees, but also they have the freedom of speech. And so they use it as a platform. We can say, hey, do you mind tweeting this out? And, most of them are cool. Sure, I'll go and do it. But, it depends on what level of engaged are they going to be to, really make sure the message, they're probably, some of them work with their agents to craft some of those tweets, and they'll go and, help promote. But if it's an ongoing sort of, hanging out today, check out my new shoes, those sort of things, that's all on them. And there's not that's kind of, they're on their own turf kind of.
So you don't have like branding, like some companies are dealing with that.
Yeah.
Or they tweet out and what should they say about the company or what should they say about themselves.
Yeah.
As far as people know you from that.
Yeah, for employees, so for employees, we have some of the social media training that goes in. We're wanting to continue that. The players are just a different. Even though they are employees, it's just also a different level of employee. So they just have a larger microphone or megaphone. Oh, we got one back there.
So this is maybe on the heels of that question. I saw a little bit of was it Find JJ?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so can you talk a little bit about how that came about, and then how do you measure the success of something like that?
Sure. So JJ Hickson is a guy we got in March, who joined our team in March of last year, so fairly new player. And his agent came to us and said, hey, we really want to go and do something around Portland. And he's kind of looked around a couple of different players, what they've done, doing scavenger hunts or doing some areas, come finding sort of stuff. So we worked with him on locations, and then how often, and when should we launch this, and what should we do. So worked with his agent, and JJ Hickson is he does his own tweets all the time. And so, where that's not necessarily true with all players or all celebrities, most of our guys, especially on Twitter, that's them. And so JJ Hickson went around town, and he would send out on Twitter, I am here at this location, and would tag it, find JJ. And the first people that came up there would get a pair of tickets, or would get an autograph thing, or whatever. And they had roughly a couple hundred people that followed him around, which the success was more, I think, in the sort of buzz that was created around Find JJ than actually the in-person. And it was done on a Saturday afternoon before we even had started camp. So they're going to do this throughout the year. They kind of wanted to test the waters to see how that did. Talking with his agent, he was with the previous agency, and it didn't quite reflect who he was. It was a little bit too polished. And JJ Hickson, a very blue-collar guy who just likes to play basketball, lift weights, and be humble. And he's not a flashy guy. They're kind of, his old agency was a little bit, that was kind of in their plans, where his new agent really wants him to be back to his roots. And so really talking with the fans, and this is a very good way for him to go and be able to do that in real time. So that's interesting you saw that. It was successful. I would say it was. We got another question over here. I'm like blinded by the. She is. Oh, no question.
No question.
Oh, I thought that was called. Okay, cool. Well, if you guys, I sent out on Twitter also. I was able to get a discount for you guys if you guys want to buy Trailblazer tickets. I put it up on my Twitter. I kind of went shh. Don't tell anybody, but I did a hashtag July 2012. So Harbison is the name of my Twitter handle. DAR. B is in brilliant for basketball. ISON. And you can find it on that. Thank you. Thank you guys from my side for having me. Paul, guys.